Welcome in to another edition of Morning Scone. Glad to have you with us. LSU baseball scores a win over Louisiana Tech 2-0, and the Pels can secure some seeding tonight against the San Antonio Spurs in the final game of the regular season. So a lot to get to here, and glad to have you with us as always. Whether you like what we talk about or not, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave comments, very much appreciated. Also, subscribe to the channel. If you found us on Twitter, please hit the retweet. If you found us on Facebook, please share this post. Appreciate it very much. It's how we'll let people know. So let me not bury the lead here. A lot I want to talk about in the game. The offense struggled again. Nick Bush returned after missing this weekend due to some shoulder soreness, so that was certainly good news for LSU. But, of course, I don't want to bury the lead, and the lead is that Caleb Gilbert came out of the bullpen last night for LSU. A.J. Labus was fantastic through shutout baseball, through 6 innings, allowing just 2 hits, no strikeouts, no walks. He really was brilliant and efficient and awesome against a good Louisiana Tech team, which is ranked, by the way. And then Caleb Gilbert was first out the pen. And Gilbert's comments after the game were awesome. He's a team guy. He's been a great team guy as long as he's been at LSU. And he said, look, Paul Mainieri was up front with me and said, look, they want Gilbert to go back to the role that he filled last year for LSU very successfully, which was kind of a jack of all trades. I mean, when Hunter Newman was injured at one point last year, Gilbert closed. He was a setup guy. He was a bridge guy. He was a spot starter, obviously, late in the season. He did great in the SEC tournament in Omaha. So they feel like they've seen him be effective in that role, and they're going to send him back to that role starting this weekend. So the way Paul Mainieri is going to set up the pitching rotation for the weekend is you'll have Zach Hess on Friday. You'll have Mikhail Hilliard on Saturday, which we'll talk about. And then Sunday is going to be TBD. And I guess my struggle with that is, and maybe it's just the uncertainty of it, one of the big criticisms was for a long time, for a lot of years, was LSU couldn't develop the third starter. And it cost them in postseason when they would go, Jack Holstaff or Johnny Holstaff, whatever you want to call it. It would cost them in the post. It cost them in Omaha in 2015. The fact that they hadn't developed a third starter. So you have at least 4 guys that have started for you and done so consistently. And sometimes you take your lumps on the weekend. And I don't know that I like setting it up with that uncertainty on Sunday. I guess it leaves you the flexibility to say, all right, let's see if Hess can get us off on a good start on Friday. Then you got Mikhail Hilliard, who's been so solid for you all year. And then you go into Sunday just with whatever is your best option available. I guess for me, I really like knowing that you've got that dominant option on Sunday in Game 3 that that a lot of teams are going to struggle with. So if you're going for a sweep, you feel really good about your chances with Hilliard. If you need to win the series, if you split the first 2 games, Hilliard gives you a great chance to do that. If you need to salvage 1 game, you've got a great opportunity to do that because of the guy there. Now, I also understand the mindset of, hey, look, you can't sweep if you don't win the first 2, so give yourself the best chance possible to win the first 2. But realistically, I don't know that this team has played consistent enough to sweep. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out this weekend. And it's not out of the realm of possibility, by the way, that A.J. Labus could come back and throw on Sunday. He threw just under 70 pitches. I'm trying to get the box score from last night so I can tell you exactly how many pitches he threw. But he threw just under 70 pitches against Louisiana Tech. So he could on 4 days rest come back and pitch Game 3 on Sunday. That's certainly not out of the question. I don't know if Paul Mainieri and Alan Dunn want to do that with a guy who had back issues coming into this season and was brought along very slowly. And in this day and age in college baseball, certainly it could cripple you in recruiting if you get the reputation as coaches that extend guys and put their futures at risk. I'm not saying Paul Mainieri and Alan Dunn have done that. If anything, they've done quite the opposite. Just look at Nick Storrs this year. How they've crawled with Nick Storrs coming back from a sore shoulder or the bone spur. Look at Nick Bush last weekend. Sore shoulder. I keep saying sore shoulder. Sore shoulder, sit down for the weekend. So they've got the reputation of being overly cautious with guys. So we'll see if that affects their decision on what they might do this weekend with A.J. Labus. But if there's a weekend that you're going to try it, I guess you could look at it two different ways with Tennessee coming in. Tennessee is statistically one of the worst teams in the SEC. Now, they're 5-7 in the league, and they even stole a game from Florida this past weekend. But when you look offensively in team ERA, they're one of the worst teams in the SEC. So if you're going to try it, you try it against a team like this where you very well could have some results, some good results. The flip side of it is this is a really winnable series, so why not put your best foot forward, and at least you have some certainty with Hess, Gilbert, and Hilliard, 1, 2, 3. Nonetheless, it's what they're going to do this weekend, and you cross your fingers and hope that it works for the Tigers. The other news, as we mentioned, was that Bush was back. He pitched the 8th and was, by the way, Gilbert pitched the 7th and was really good. I mean, efficient, got a 1-2-3 inning. He had one ball hit hard against him, but I think he was hit out to center and Watson made the play. It might have been to right and Duplantis made the play. But I think it was probably good for Caleb Gilbert to go have a clean inning and just get up and down and have success and flush what happened Friday in College Station. Bush came out, got 2 outs quickly, walked 2 in the 8th with 2 outs, and then came back and got a strikeout for the 3rd out of the inning. So it was nice to see Nick Bush get back out there again and to pitch well after missing this weekend with that sore shoulder. And then Austin Bain pitched the 9th. So if there were any questions about what they might do or if they were going to make a change in the closer role with Bain playing second now full time, at least until Broussard's back, that's your answer. Reed went into second, and Bain came in and closed the game and got 3 outs on 9 pitches. So LSU has a couple of days to go into the weekend against Tennessee. They hope to get Josh Smith back, and there will be a change in the pitching rotation. So we'll see how it works out this weekend. So offensively, and this is the real big issue right now, because it's true that if you don't allow any runs, like LSU did last night, you're going to win a lot of games. You literally can't lose if you don't allow a run. But last night LSU pushed across just 2 runs. David Leal, the starter for Louisiana Tech, was so good. He's a lefty, and he just had LSU off balance all night. He threw a 67-mile-an-hour changeup that he located beautifully, and LSU hitters just couldn't find. LSU struggled against lefties all year. That's no secret. We've seen that over and over again. And this was a good one. He's got a sub-2 ERA. It was his 7th start of the season. Tech has pitched it really well, and you tip your cap because they've been good. But at some point, you've got to be able to break through. And I don't know if I want to say it's a concerning thing, but it was an interesting thing to see LSU, when they finally got base runners in the 5th, 6th, and 7th, try to play small ball. Like, not just pulmonary hit and runs, because that's something he likes very much, but bunts, stolen bases. The inning when they scored in the 6th, Slaughter got on a hit by pitch to lead off the inning. They bunted Hal Hughes to get Slaughter to second. Watson came up, singled to score Slaughter, so it was 1-0. Cabrera's up. They tried to bunt Cabrera. He missed the bunt. They tried to hit and run. He swung through it, so Watson got the stolen base anyway. Cabrera grounds out. Watson goes to third. Duplantis comes up with a base hit, and it's 2-0. Then Duplantis straight steal of second. I mean, it was a straight-on, looked like you're watching old days of Cal State Fullerton, or you're watching that UCLA team from the College World Series in 2013. I mean, it was straight small ball there for a while with LSU, and I get it. When you're scuffling at the plate, you do whatever you have to do to find a way to push across a run. The problem is this team wasn't built to play small ball. And now they're obviously not mashers, as evidenced by the results right now, but if you didn't construct your roster with speedy guys who perfectly execute bunts and know how to put pressure on a defense, and that's what you practice all the time, it's hard to just switch and do that instantly. I'm curious to see this weekend with Tennessee if LSU continues to try to do that, just play small ball and put pressure on a defense, or if they can find a way to break through offensively. If there's one thing with this team right now that's concerning, and you saw this on Sunday in College Station when Mitchell Kilkenny was at like 60 pitches through 7 innings, they seem to lack a collective approach at the plate. And if you're just going up there without a plan, I'm not saying they are going up there without a plan. Maybe they are, because I'm not in team meetings and I don't know. But it seems like they're up there and you're just swinging and hoping for good results. And it was pretty clear against A&M. They were trying to swing early in the count against Kilkenny, and that resulted in a lot of ground balls and a lot of fly ball outs, and that guy was in a groove, and you never made him uncomfortable. And I can understand if your approach is, hey, he throws strikes early in the count, let's be aggressive and jump on that against a strike thrower and not get down in the count to where it's an advantageous count for the pitcher. But the problem with that is if it's not working, then you've got to make that guy uncomfortable. You got to foul off pitches. You got to take pitches. You got to make him work deep into a count. You got to make him sweat. You got to put a pressure on him in a full count to make a good pitch. I mean, that's what you're not seeing this offense do right now. I like being aggressive, but at some point, if you're not netting the results with that approach, you got to do something different. And we'll see if they can do it this weekend against Tennessee, because as we've talked about, it's a monster weekend. And we'll also see with Josh Smith back, provided Smith is back, what changes they decide to make in the what changes they elect to make, or if they elect to make changes with Smith coming back. Does that mean Hal Hughes goes to the bench? Do they move Smith to third and keep Hughes at short, and Slaughter and/or Reed goes to the bench? We'll see what they elect to do, but it's a big weekend for LSU. This really is at the halfway point, just a turning point weekend for the season with Tennessee coming to the box. All right, before I get out of here and wish you a good hump day, Pels are at home tonight, regular season finale. They play the Spurs. Pels are a 3.5-point favorite, and there's about a million different. I wish I could show you all this. The graph that the NBA released of all the different possibilities based on the final 5 games of the season. It was something like 56 possibilities, different seeding possibilities that could all play out. So the most basic, and the Pels really needed Golden State to win last night, and they did, and they got blown out. But at its most basic level, the Pels need to win. You win tonight, you see how the chips fall after tonight, and because truthfully, what you want to avoid more than anything is the 7 or 8 seed. If you're the 7 or the 8 seed, you're going to play Golden State or Houston, and you can essentially just pack your bags and go home. Any other series, they have a chance to win. Now, I've said it before, they don't match up well at all against Utah. I would hate to see them play Utah. By the way, Utah and Portland flipped in the standings right now. So Utah is the 3, Portland's the 4, and New Orleans is the 5. So as it stands right now, New Orleans would play Portland in round 1, and I like that matchup a lot. And yeah, you got Lillard and McCollum, and that's a tough matchup for anybody, but it's a much better matchup than Utah, and certainly better than the Rockets or the Warriors. So, one night left in the NBA regular season. We'll see how the Pels do and where their seeding lands. All right, hopefully you'll join us for AFR today, 3 to 6 Central, ESPN Baton Rouge, ESPN New Orleans, Cox Sports TV. You can stream us online. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, Snapchat. And hit me up, man, if y'all ever have comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions. I'm always happy to talk about different things, different posts that you may want to hear. For example, someone a guy named Mark who lives in Philly left a post asking about Ben Simmons and his time at LSU. So I did about a 6-7 minute video yesterday on that. So if you've got anything you want me to talk about, let me know. Shoot me a message, sort of a mailbag format, and I'm happy to address it here on Matt Moscone YouTube channel. Y'all have a great day. See ya.